Hi, everybody. We are at about 5 o'clock, so I'm going to give just a little bit of time for everybody to get online. It has been a rainy day. My yard looks like I could use a kayak to get around. And so today is a very casual day at the office. I hope you guys don't mind. Potcakes and I are casually attired. So I'm excited about talking about taking action. It's one of my favorite things. I'm just going to adjust the camera just a little bit so you can see me better and we can talk about taking actions. It really is one of my favorites because I am known for taking action and doing it very quickly and waiting to see what happens afterward. But it always works out really well for me, just taking actions. And that's why I think it's so important and so different from what a lot of people think about with the law of attraction. I think it's really cool and can't wait to talk to you about it. Just toggle a little bit back and forth. And wait and see if anybody else is going to come. And hope that you've gone over the workbook and the other modules and have seen them. The modules are, of course, thoughts become things, and then beliefs, and then emotions, and then today we're going to do taking action, and we're also going to talk about instincts, dreams, hunches, and gut feelings. I'm not sure if that's the name of the chapter, though. We're going to talk about those as well. I think that a lot of times when we start taking action, we will have these instincts about which way we should go next. And that's what we'll talk about today. I have good stories for you guys. Lots of things have happened to me since I started taking action. And I just want you guys, hey, Wendy, and I just want you guys to also start taking actions in the direction of your dreams. Because the most important part is that we don't have to know if it's the right direction or not. We just have to start doing something to take action on our dreams. And I'm really glad that I did that, because a lot of people, I think, find themselves in the place of waiting to figure out how to make something happen. Well, while you're waiting to figure out how, then you're not taking action. You're waiting on the sidelines and thinking, I'm going to figure this out. And once I figure this out, then I'm going to take action. So I'm going to be telling you from the beginning, it's time to just step out and do it, and then into place. Because what we're doing energetically is we're sending a message to the universe that our actions are creating our life. We're sending a message that we're in alignment with the life that we want to live. And it's kind of like what I want to call tricking the universe by letting them think, hi, Kathleen. The universe think that we are, in fact, what we want already. So, excuse me. So as you take these actions, then you're stepping into that place. You're stepping into the place that you want to be, and things will line up around you. And that's why we're going to talk about some of the examples that I have, and I have a lot of them. So I know for sure that this works, and I have seen it happen in lots of people's lives, not just mine. So let me just go over here. Hi, hello, and hello, Kathleen. I'm glad to have people with me here today, and I'm going to try that strategy again with letting people participate. I know a lot of people watch the replay. Somebody told me recently that she was watching the replay and her little boy was waving at me, thinking that I was there. I felt very rude, knowing that he thinks that I wasn't responding, but I certainly would have to that cute little boy. So we'll wait just a few minutes, not too long, and then we'll start. I am going to show you something that some of you may have seen. I don't know. I know that you both have been, at least if this is the Kathleen, I think it is, then I know you both have been to an IP conference, and you may or may not have seen the video that I'm going to show you made for the IP conference in Denver, the first time that I spoke and presented at a conference. And it's about how I decided to go and teach 100 people IP. Now, when I decided that person in mind, I knew that I could hold my office captive because they work for me and they're paid to be here. But other than that, I wasn't sure who or why. I wasn't involved in any spiritual groups. I didn't know anybody that would help me do it. Nobody else was an IP trainer in my town. I just said, the week that I came back, I'm going to teach 100 people for free. So I'm going to show you this little video. So hold on just a minute. Think you're going to like it. Sorry, guys. Going to take just a minute. I don't know why my video seems to be stuck just a little bit. No, that's not it.
Okay, it's there for the Listerine 21 day
challenge. Hold on. Okay. Not that. Here we go. So where's the picture? I detect some serious problems here. It says that I'm going to show you giant pigs in the wilderness. That is mine. Thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for bearing with me and my hogumentary. Here we go. That's my piggy Wang.
Some of you may be wondering why I wanted to feature my Big Wang in this movie for you guys to watch today. Well, the reason is why there's nobody that I know that's more single-minded in the way he approaches things. And his approach is about food. My approach is about IP. When I decided I wanted to train 100 people in IP from January, I knew that I was going to do it. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know anything technical at all. I always mess up the video. I just knew that it was really important to get the message across. So the thing is, sometimes you just have to go for what you want. Doesn't matter what kind of obstacles you have. Doesn't matter if you have to get down and wallow in it. Sometimes you have to get dirty. Sometimes you have to stretch yourself. And always you have to remember what's the end result. For me, it was coaching a lot of people in IP. For Wang, it's the food. So my second pig, I named Iffy. The reason for that is because I got him on a weekend in New Jersey with the Infinite Possibilities. We call ourselves Iffy, and what a better name for a little piggy who doesn't think that there's anything he can't do than Iffy. Iffy, in fact, will chase Wang, who's 150 pounds, probably, all over the yard because he doesn't think there's any obstacles. He'll root all day long, and then he can go and rest and feel perfectly content wherever he is. That's what being Iffy is about. Being happy, being contented, being willing to push boundaries, and whatever you're doing, going for it.
Here we go. You guys like that? I did that for the, like I said, for the, yeah, I'm frozen. At least I'm not frozen looking real silly. I did that to show people that, just to talk about how I did it. And so the first step was kind of just setting the intention. So when I talk about taking action, one of the first things that I think is important to do is to set your intention. And some people may think that just talking about something or writing it down, which is not really taking action, but we know better. We know that if our thoughts become things and we put this energy out into the world and the universe, then we are creating. So when I told the people in my office, I said, I'm going to teach 100 people. Then that's the second step. Then I started setting up workshops. I didn't know how many people were going to show up, and I also didn't even start to calculate it. I just had 10 people at one and 25 at another. And then I went to 2 high schools and I had 30 people in each class. And right before the time that I was supposed to speak, I was short 2 people. And I thought, I'm just going to teach these people. I'm going to teach the people in my office one by one until I get 100 people. But it turns out I had forgotten a couple of ladies in my Mary Kay group. So I didn't know their names. So when I went to write it down, I had forgotten 2 of the women. And I sent the list in to the lady who was the organizer, and she said, oh, you forgot her and her. Then I realized I had 100. So even though my plan was to teach 100 people, and even though I didn't know how, as I began to take action, I made it happen. And things like that have occurred to me before. When I was going to teach Key West, Florida, and some of you know I do Possibilities in Paradise, and I was laying out one day in Key West, and I thought to myself, I want to do a workshop here. And I wrote it down in my little pad, and then I went and talked to my friend who's a travel agent, and she said, well, we better just see if anybody's receptive. You know, I'm not sure anybody will show up. She said, Andy Dooley only got 50 people when he did a workshop here. I didn't care. I thought, I'm going to do it. So after I have my date, I go and start advertising on Facebook and to my friends and family. My first event in July of that year, I had 30 people. And people say, Lee, how did you create an event, a destination retreat? And I said, well, I just did it. And so the thing is, if I just sat around thinking to myself, how am I going to pull off a retreat in a destination, I wouldn't have done it. Could it have been better? I'm sure. I was a nervous couple of days trying to figure out how to get everybody where they needed to go. But the universe provided me a perfect partner in Jonathan Benjamin, who I didn't meet until the month before the retreat at the Denver IP conference. He was actually on the panel next to me, sitting, and he told me he was from Key West. And I said, well, I'm doing an event there. And the next thing you know, I had a partner. And now, this coming July, we'll be on our 5th event. Our last 2 events have sold out. What if I had waited? What if I had thought, I'm going to figure it out first? Then I wouldn't have been taking action. Now, I can tell you additional stories like meeting people that I wanted to meet or going to a trip to Africa. The first step is figuring out what you want. Telling some people, I'm going to do this. And then you begin to send that message to the universe that you're launching, you're doing it. So some other things that I've done that are not IP related, thank you, Wendy. Wendy said the figure was so cute. That are not IP related is I wanted to go on a trip cross country. And I may have told you about how I did a vision board. And it ended up that I went with my friend James to 5 countries in 5 days. Well, I met a lot of people there. And of some of the people that I met, one of my friends is a race car driver. And his name is Jake. And I taught him how to start taking action. And he started taking action by going to a lot of these shows that he wanted to go to. And then after that, he started enrolling in his vehicle in these smaller drifting races. And then he started reaching out to sponsors. And now he is drifting at all kinds of professional things around the world. And there's another woman I met who started a modeling company. And how she did that was by just declaring that she's a spokesperson from a clothing company in the UK. And she is featured in tons of magazines. It's really amazing. Just somebody who sits around and has a dream, and the people who make their dream happen is taking action. Now, I didn't ever know that some of the actions that I were to take were going to lead me down the path that I'm on now. So one of the things that I've been saying that I wanted to do for a while is that I wanted to stop practicing law. Yes, I want to stop practicing law. And so I began working with a coach about doing online presentations and having my own program. And this was the step. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what platform I would have. In fact, I started out thinking to people that are going through divorce. That's it. I know divorce. I've done this before. I'm just going to write a program for people going through divorce. So I started doing that. I wrote an entire program called The Path to Positive Change about people in divorce. Well, then, for a while, I got a website designer, I got a URL, worked, had stalls and stops, and then I thought, no, you know what, I'm going to work with lawyers. So I wrote a program, Path to Positive Change, for lawyers. I worked on that. I wrote a program. I decided I was going to do that. I started inquiring about how I could do CLE. No, that didn't feel good either. But I was taking action the whole time. I was steadily taking not to practice law anymore. So neither of those things have gotten me out of it, right? I mean, look around. We're at my lovely office. But just a few weeks ago, I had an idea that put together all of the training that I'd had and is for sure going to get me out of practicing law. And in fact, when I had the idea, I knew that my life had changed. And so by taking action, and it's been since, it wasn't this past January, but it was the January before last, when I started taking action, not knowing where it would lead me. And definitely it did not lead me to where I wanted to be. But what I consistently act, putting one step and 1 foot in front of me. And some days I would think, I am not getting anywhere. But I am. And I did. And I kept consistently showing up. And what I think that we do, or I know that we do, is we give up because we think that our actions are not getting us anywhere. Now, before I knew about the law of attraction, about me harnessing this power of the universe, what would happen would be I would stall and I would just stop taking any action. And when I stopped, then nothing would happen. There have been some times before when I've written a couple of books and I did huge PR campaign. I owned and I sold my franchise and I had a pretty big stash of money and I decided to hire some PR people. And I was in all the newspapers around here. Of course, we're in Alabama, but I got a lot of press and made a lot of money that year. And I knew I'm going to go and I'm going to be a public speaker and I'm going to go do workshops. And then something happened and the other lawyers didn't like it and I had some complaints and I thought I can't do it and I stopped. I just said, you know what, it's okay. I don't have to do it. If I had continued to take action, then I would have done that many, many years ago. It's probably been 10 years ago. But when things didn't go the way I wanted them to, instead of continuing to do something, I just quit. And I think most of us do that, but we don't have to because we know better now. We know that as long as we are doing something in the direction of our dreams, is how Mike says it, then eventually the universe will come to us and we'll get exactly what we want. But that doesn't mean it's going to look exactly like you want it to look. He uses Mike Dooley, he uses that visual or that analogy about the GPS. That when you get in your car, and I know we all know this one, but when you get in your car and you program it to go to a certain destination, you don't know until right when you get there that you've made it. You don't know how it's going to get you there. You don't know what time. Well, it tells you what time. But you don't know what streets or which avenues or what city you'll go through until you arrive. So that's the way it is with our taking action. Now, Mike talks about taking action in a way that it's not super traditional. Like he talks about doing things that as it's being in alignment. And that word, that phrase sounds a little cliched now that I know about the law of attraction, but I really, when I got it, it kind of changed things for me. Because I realized that there were some things I was in alignment with, and there were some things that I wasn't. And one of the things that I was not in alignment with yet And I didn't figure this out until November of this past year, just a few months ago. I wasn't in alignment yet with being an international speaker and teacher. And I was in a workshop in London. There I am in a workshop in a room with 10 or 15 people and presenting IP, thinking to myself that I'm not in alignment with being an international presenter in London presenting, but I still wasn't feeling it. I hadn't stepped into it. I wasn't acting as if I felt still like I was doing something that when you're in alignment, you will naturally do these things. And that's why before I came into alignment with this place I'm in now, I found it difficult to sit down and write a blog or to sit down and learn how to do internet marketing or to take a class on how to do Facebook ads, because I still wasn't in alignment. I still was living my life as a lawyer. And once I stepped in and did the things that that person that was an international speaker would do, then things changed for me. And that happened, well, let's see, November, I was in the hotel room. And my boyfriend and I had broken up. It was not going well. I was eating and drinking every day, and that's about it. And I thought to myself, I'm changing. When I go back to the US, I'm going to do things differently. And boy, did I. I hit it. I started writing and writing every day. I really got serious about my website. And I posted blogs, and I went on LinkedIn, and I started a Facebook fan page, and I really began doing things in the direction of my dreams. I came up with a new program called Divorcing Your Bad Habit. I advertised for it. People said, oh my God, I still didn't know. I still had no idea why or where or what was going to happen, but I was in alignment at that point. Now, can anybody tell me, has there been a place you really stepped in alignment? Or after listening to me, can you tell me that you know that there's still a gap between alignment and where you want to be? So I've had this new strategy here where I can ask you to speak, and I'm going to try it, and we'll see how it works. May not, but we're going to try it. Last week it worked a teensy bit. So what I've done is I've invited the people in the webinar to participate. So if you are enabled, it's a few minutes to go through a couple of things. Kathleen's back, so it may not have worked. You have to go through a few steps, and then you will be able to talk with me. So you'll show up at the bottom if you are. If not, then we'll just keep going the way we are. See both of you back. Hey there. So since that didn't seem to work just yet, can anybody tell me, can you see the difference in being in alignment with something and actually taking actions from that place of alignment, or just taking actions? I will say that I think that taking action is the first step. Poor Wendy gets kicked out all the time, and I don't know if it's Webinar Jam or what, but sorry, Wendy. But the taking action part and the being in alignment, does anybody want to, okay, thank you, Wendy. Does anybody want to say, what about you, Kathleen? You're going to talk about if you see the difference in being in alignment. I can tell you while we wait, something also that I figured out was that I'm not quite in alignment with being a healthy eater and exerciser. I still find that a challenge. But when you step in place, it's no longer a challenge. You don't have to do anything anymore or be anything. You do it naturally. So when things stop becoming a chore, you know that you've stepped into that person in that place, and the universe will come to meet you there. Like when I started my retreat in Key West, I just started making arrangements to have an event in Key West. I didn't I mean, I was in alignment from the beginning. I started getting reservations. I started sending out messages, and things just came together. Now, the things that don't come for me easily are the things that I feel are a chore or hard, because I'm not there yet. I know it seems, you know what, you guys probably know exactly what I mean. But sometimes when I explain these concepts, I think, wow, that seems so weird. It seems so easy, but yet it's a little bit in the book, in the workbook, which I know you both have. He talks about doing some acting as if exercises, and some acting as if things that I have done are starting a quantum journal. Now, I got the idea from Craig and Ella Wetter. They did a workshop in Key West this past time called Quantum Relationships. And they were talking about putting things down that you already are claiming for yourself. So they would say everything in the present tense. I am this. I'm living the life of my dreams. I am, and I know that we know about affirmations and we know about I am statements, but to actually journal from a place of having what you want. I had an amazing date tonight. That one's a tough one at this point. But writing those things down, like you're stepping into that. I'm in a loving and supportive relationship. I love my partner so much. We had a great time on our latest vacation. And the only thing that you write in there are the things you want to have. So Brian Glover, who was with me, we started doing that. And we had some pretty amazing results right away. We started the quantum journaling. And I have my quantum journal at home in it, but I do think that that's a fun way to start affirming and writing like you're in present tense. Now, something that I love, and I don't know if anybody has seen it before, you probably have, but I really like it, and so I want to show it to you again, and I'm hopefully not going to have the same problems that I had a second ago. Hold on just a second. This is about taking action and also segues a bit into our next dreams and wishes. Hi, Allison. So I'm going to show you the lovely Susan Boyle. Hold on, guys. Gosh, I'm sorry about all of these. I don't know why I'm having the technical difficulties with the videos. Well, we have some nice young men from Britain's Got Talent, but that's not who we want to see. Hold on. Here we go. Here she is.
Hi, what's your name, darling?
My name is Susan Boyle.
Okay, Susan, where are you from?
I'm from Whiteman near Bathgate, West Lothian.
It's a big town.
It's a sort of collection of villages. How do you think, dear?
And how old are you, Susan?
I am 47. And that's just one side of me.
Okay, what's the dream?
I'm trying to be a professional singer.
And why hasn't it worked out so far, Susan?
Had a chance before, but here's hoping it will change.
Okay, and who would you like to be as successful as?
Elaine Page.
Elaine Page. What are you going to sing tonight?
I'm going to sing I Dreamed a Dream from the Miserables.
Okay, big song. Yeah? Yeah.
I dreamed a dream in time gone by.
the dream.